What's up? Hey there, friend. It's your guy, Dennis Oden here. And guys, I just turned 35 years old the other day. Now, that's like kind of halfway through my life if I'm to live until 70, you know? I could live less. I could live more. I don't know, really. But the truth is, we really don't have a forever life. Life is really short, and every day life ticks. So instead of just celebrating it, I decided to give you guys a gift. I've been writing a book for the past 13 years. For the past 13 years, I've been writing a book. I published a couple of books before, and now this was going to be like a big book. It's a book on self-love and becoming the kind of person to whom it can work. I planned to release this book at some point, and I was like waiting for a perfect moment when I became something, when I had something with me to be able to release it. But guess what? I haven't released the book yet. I'm going to release it soon. And guess what? I'll be giving you a copy of that book for free. It's a devotional. You're going to love it. I hope so, right? And today, I have something even better for you. I decided to look back over the past 34 years, or the better part of 34 years, to really pick what are the top 7 lessons that I can pick and I can share with you that could perhaps save you, it could make some difference to you. Like if you think about it, only a fool goes and does the same mistakes that somebody has gone through. Wise people decide to look back at other people's lives and they learn from them. And I will tell you what, 34 years have passed. And over these 34 years, I have traveled the world, guys. I've been, maybe not as much as some of you, but I think I've had a phase in my life when I was just traveling the world, right? So there was a phase in my life where I went to almost 34, 35 countries, just traveling, and great, either when I was in campus, when I was studying, or when I was working with an organization a while back, or just at some point when I just was being called to speak at certain events, and I would go. I also, during this period, became a Buddhist monk in Thailand for 2 months, and that was also a very incredible time of my life when I learned a lot. Lived in the forest of Thailand, having 2 robes, carrying a bowl. I look back at those moments, I'm like, whoa, Dennis, you've done quite some incredible things. Like, how far can you go, Dennis? I remember I also came back at some point. I built an online business to generating $5,000 to $10,000 a month easily. And then I decided to leave that. I moved to the US with my family. And in spite of all that, I mean, even in the US, I didn't tell you, I got a job, and I went up to, I was just like looking really, really active to get into career positions, further studies, studying for my PhD. Like I was just on a roll, right? But at some point, I just got so depressed. I felt so lost. I wanted to leave everything. I wanted to leave my family. I wanted to leave everything behind. And worst of all, I don't know, maybe I wanted to run to monkhood or just do something like that. But one day while I was driving to work, I was listening to a sermon and I said, God, show me you're real. I wanted to try God because I had tried all these paths and they just never seemed to work. I never seemed to see that. I tried vulnerability, I tried different things. It just never seemed to hit home for me. So this time I said, God, show me you're real. And guess what, guys? What started as a simple trial just transformed my life. And for once, something really, really shifted for me on the inside that day onwards. And it's been a journey that I have seen. If someone asks you, do you believe in God? Then I could say, yes, I believe in God. But now maybe it goes beyond belief. I know God. You don't believe that you have a parent. You don't believe in your parent, right? You don't believe in your mom and dad. You know your mom and dad. You don't believe in your sibling. You know your sibling. There is a relationship. So right now, I don't just believe in God. I know God. I know him, you know? So it's just so incredible to see that despite all these turnarounds, I have come to a place where I deeply know God for myself, and that is the biggest gift of all time. Now, these lessons are going to be so real that it will save you a lot of pain. It will save your future. It will also transform your life. Now, I'm going to share this with boldness and with love. And I know some people, might want to use this honestly against me. And guess what? Sometimes when people are vulnerable on social media, people go using that. They're like, oh, look at Dennis. Look, how comes he shares that? Guess what, guys? I don't care. This is the gospel according to Dennis. And this is my platform, right? I share what I sense somebody needs to hear. And I'm going to share it. So whoever wants to use this against me, go right ahead. Do you. I just owe allegiance to God and to nobody else, right? So let's jump in, guys. Number one, stop being a rebel. Try being curious instead. Now, if you think about it, I'm not just talking about rebel or, like throwing words around. Let's make it real for you. Imagine somebody who is a young person in their 15 or even 18 years or 20 years, and they're saying, oh, you know what? I'm just so tired of people controlling my life, right? So they leave home early. They're thinking, I'll start my own life without my parents, without my caregivers. I don't need them. I'm just going to go start my own life. And it sounds great, right? And it sounds familiar. Or maybe, these people move out and they get married quickly. Oftentimes, in this rebellious mood, it's a come we stay. A come we stay? Come we stay is where you just come and live with your partner. You're like, hey, let's move on. Let's go with the flow. And come we stay, you have kids. Or maybe you just decide to stay together because you have kids together. Now, you get married quickly without the blessings of the parents. And you know what you sometimes tell yourself is, they don't care about me anyway. So I better just live my life. I'm living my life. I'm finding my truth. Now, the thing about that is sometimes our parents, because they love us unconditionally, sometimes, and some of them, they will support us anyway. But what is the truth? The truth for them is something is amiss, right? Some of us and some young people, and I look back to my 20-year-old self, decide to drop out of school. They're like, I'll make it in life without you. And sometimes they get a fair share of success, but then the kind of rebellion in their heart isn't just fulfilling yet. It leaves them fighting people. They fight every leader, they fight every teacher, every boss, and deep inside, they're tired of feeling powerless. They fight for causes they don't even understand. You see anger in how they are going about things. Demonstrations. I've seen demonstrations that really are very legit, genuine demonstrations, but young people fighting for causes they don't even understand. Because of this rebellion, leaders and politicians, let's not even call them leaders, politicians and selfish people use these young people to their own advantage. They fuel them with propaganda, and because of that feeling of, oh, you feel powerless, they want to bring out all that anger and rebellion on people. Now, rebelling against injustice makes sense. But I want to tell you something. There are certain things that we shouldn't rebel against. Traditions, norms, that, like rules. Rules that are meant to keep us safe sometimes. Rather than rebel, sometimes you feel a friction. Rather than rebel, try being curious. Why is this rule here? Sometimes you see your parents or your caregivers are advocating that you get to church or you get to study the Bible. And you're like, look, hakuna mtu, there's nobody else there's nothing about that. Rather than rebelling and throwing things away, try being curious. What if there is more? What if the problem is not God, but maybe how people have shown him? What if faith is actually my strength instead of my weakness? You see, the truth is rebellion without understanding only makes you weaker. And guys, I've been there. I've been there in a space where I just said to my girlfriend at that time, hey, let's live together. Yeah, let's do it. And I think that was really a foolish move. It's foolish because what happens is when you have accumulation of actions that pile up for you, you you throw away, you sell your identity trying to chase something. When you get curious, you don't rebel against traditions. You find out what's the truth in these traditions. Is it harmful? Sometimes in our rebellion, we think with our immature senses and we go with things like, oh, why do I need to do a wedding worth 2 million? It's not the 2 million in the church wedding. It's the fact that you are honoring your marriage before God. It's the fact that you're standing before God. It's the fact that you're coming together within a community of believers and you're saying, God bless my marriage. Why do I need to do a traditional wedding and take my fiance home? Why do I need to show them to my brothers or to my sisters or to my parents? It's not just about showing them. Perhaps your parents or your siblings are not in the best perfect condition. Perhaps they are very judgmental. Perhaps they are not the best loving people. But the fact that you show it to them isn't for them. It's because you are fulfilling certain traditions. When I look at the Bible, for example, I look at the life of someone like Jesus. Jesus was perfect. He didn't have to align to any traditions. But you can see in the Bible that Jesus was baptized to fulfill all righteousness, to fulfill traditional Christian spiritual traditions, right? He observed religious traditions. Not all of them. There were those that he challenged. And he challenged them and drew people to think curiously around them. He wasn't a rebel who was saying, oh no, now I'm turning my back on this. He was challenging us to grow stronger, to build a better life, and to make wiser decisions. So guys, rather than rebelling, try being curious. You see, while a foolish rebel runs from anything hard or uncomfortable, chasing only what feels easy or familiar, a wise explorer plants deep roots, then moves forward with open eyes and a steady heart, as well as a teachable spirit. When you're curious, you have an open heart, you have a teachable spirit, you're growing, you're building a foundation, you're knowing what to let go, you're knowing what to bring in the fold. Rather than go through the rebellion and let life teach you a lesson, why don't you just be curious and learn and grow within the fold of safety or within the fold of what you can grow with? It's going to save you your life. It's going to save you your legacy. It's going to save you a lot of time that you could have spent rebuilding, because curiosity enables you to learn. Rebellion chases you away from people, from structures, and from things that are meant to keep you safe. That's a long lesson. Let's look at lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is you are being programmed, whether you like it or not. Guys, you can try to minimize it, but you cannot completely eradicate it. You see, you're not just living your life, you're living someone else's design. Imagine you wake up in the morning, you pick up your phone and you're scrolling, right? The first thing you're doing is checking through Instagram, and then before you know it, 15, 40, 30, 1 hour has passed. And then you're caught watching people's perfect lives, comparing yourselves to them. Or perhaps you just caught into these fun moments. These days, it's not perfect lives anymore. It's people caught into fun moments, laughing, or a short reel that just engages your attention. It keeps you there. And before you realize it, your mind is just all glued into that screen. Now think about this. All those hours spent online, what if someone has been pulling your strings? Do you think you're the one there? You may think you have the control, but for the most part, someone has been pulling the shots. Seriously, guys, when I think about this, it's just so sad, but so foolish, but also so powerful, and just it's like when I sit on my phone and I watch the first video and the next video it's like, say I'm on an inspirational video and the next video is inspirational too. And the next one, it's like, whoa, it's the algorithm. Somebody is seated behind algorithms, behind computers, and saying, how can I keep this guy glued here for a long time? You see, that is not something meant to progress you. That is something meant to progress them. Because when you're glued there for a long time, your ability to think and reason for yourself is filtered. It's kind of tampered with. Now you will click to purchase something easily. You will click you think you're going to learn something, but what you're doing is you're weakening your ability to make a resolve. You're weakening your ability to choose, to decide, and to take a path that is your own. Now, guys, here's the thing. There are people controlling and programming your mind, but you have the controller. You can choose. Instead of letting TikTok, YouTube decide what your day will look like, you can choose to hit pause. You can choose to decide what goes into your mind. And when you notice, there is a way on Facebook that you can actually press some 3 buttons on those pop-ups and say, I don't want to see ads like this. You can do that on YouTube too. You can keep filtering these things and choose things that really uplift you. And oftentimes choose to turn off your phone. Some people go even radical and remove all the apps and just keep the basic functional apps and then use the apps on a computer where they know that when they turn off the computer, they are no longer under that influence. And I think that's incredible because think about it. Guys, you are being programmed, whether you like it or not. Last year, I made a choice. You see, I wanted flexibility, I wanted freedom in Christ, and I wanted to live out my purpose. I wanted to do it unapologetically. I wanted to fail and get up, fall down and get up as many times as I could, and I'm still in the process of doing that today. But that decision wasn't made by just crawling through, endless feeds. It was made when I took time to sit down and say, I'm going the wrong direction, and I chose to decide what kind of life I wanted. And it's the same for you guys. If you want something different, you've got to stop letting other people program you. You've got to start programming yourself. So what's your choice today? Are you going to let the world tell you who you should be? Or are you going to take control and design your own path? Let's look at lesson number 3. Take charge of your life or stay average forever. Take charge of your life or stay average forever. Let me be straight with you. If you don't take charge of your life, you're going to be like in that position forever. Now, that position doesn't have to be a bad position. You could be in an average position where you're just earning a basic salary, making ends meet, you're okay. But that's just where you're going to be. You could be praying for more, but really, if you don't take charge of your life, of every bit of it, and, there's something I know, like as a Christian, there's something I had to grapple with about taking charge of my life and surrendering my life to Christ. I want to create a distinction here. You see, surrender. So let me give it this way. Imagine a farmer planting a tree or something outside. The farmer decides to plant the seed. God makes it grow. The farmer decides to water the plant. God makes that come up. So there is the action that the farmer is taking over and over again. Imagine this farmer decides to take that seed and just plant it there and leave it and say, I'm waiting on the Lord because the Lord is going to make this happen. I don't think so. Yes, the Lord may make things happen, but I think we get it all wrong. There is the aspect of what we are doing every day to nurture our intimacy. It's just like in a marriage, and I think God gives us everything in life to show us the kind of relationship He wants with us. He uses the marriage of a married couple. If you neglect your spouse and wait on the Lord, it's nothing. Nothing is going to be there. You may just end over the D word very soon. Separation, infidelity, all those things are going to come in. It takes intentionality. I look at it in 3 ways. 1, there is the freedom that you get in Christ. And number 2, there is the identity that you step into as a new person because you're free. You're no longer a slave to your sins. You're no longer a slave to your past. You're now a free person. So there's a new identity that you walk into, the identity of God. And number 3, there is a responsibility for you. the responsibility to carry your cross, the responsibility to keep walking that tight line of faith. Now listen, does it mean that if you sin, you're out of it? No. I don't think that is what Jesus meant. Jesus died for our sins the whole time, but Jesus calls us to take responsibility for renewing our mind, responsibility for growing intimate with Him, responsibility for constantly learning and growing. Now, that is not the act that leads you to be saved. What leads you to be saved is believing in Jesus Christ. Upon belief, now there is a daily renewal of your mind along that path. So guys, there is something about taking charge. If you don't take charge, you're going to stay with these limiting beliefs like I'm not smart enough, I'm not lucky like them, oh, I can't do this, or maybe I need resources. These are lies that will keep you in the middle forever. Guess what? Did you know, guys, that the system, the world order, is designed to keep you distracted, to keep you busy, but never truly free? You see, you have to fight for your dreams. You have to break the old habits. You have to take full charge of your life. You have to stay out of it. Like you have to say, I'm gonna do this, and you start doing it. The biggest feeders of our economy are the middle class. The biggest feeders of our economy are the middle class, in case you didn't know. And the education system, the world system, is designed to create a big majority of middle class who are really average people who just live average life, workers working for systems, not dreamers. You see, the truth is this: you can decide to take charge of your life. You can decide to be better. You can decide to live life on your own terms. Your own terms doesn't have to be money. It's not just chasing more money. Because you'll be thinking, oh, but I don't want more money. You look, if you want more money, by all means, go for it. It's not just the material thing. It may include that. And if it does, tick, go for it. But listen, it's not just the big car. It may be. And that's it. If you want to go for it. Listen. One of the things that I really want is to create a system where I can spend more time with my kids, a system where I can be present in their life, not just present as they see a body who is there, not just present as they see me bringing in material wealth, but I want to grow into really impart positive knowledge into their life, to be a part of their growth journey. I know that is something that I want to do, and I'm not just desiring it, but I'm designing my life around how that works, right? So remember, guys, you have to align what you want with your deepest desire and take charge to make sure that it happens. Lesson number 4. Your relationships will make or break you. Here's the truth. The people you surround yourself with will either lift you up or drag you down. Some will add value to your life and others will suck life out of it. Be careful who you let into your inner circle. Some people can be super close. Some of them are family members. It could be your spouse. It could be your parent, your friends, even, people very, very close. They can either break you or they can lift you up. If you ever feel uneasy about someone, don't ignore that gut feeling. Question it. Don't ignore it. Question it. Don't just go along with the flow because it's easy or just because everyone else is doing. You have to be strong in who you are. You see, your sense of self, your identity needs to be firm. You see, an important thing that I know is don't live for anyone else. Don't live for your parents. Don't live for your spouse. Don't live for your kids. They can all disappoint you, especially for men. Men. The other day I was I don't celebrate my birthdays. By design, I don't celebrate my birthdays. And my boss was like, what, Dennis? Oh, you're like, I so hate you right now. Dennis, you didn't tell us it's your birthday. I'm like, no, I don't celebrate my birthdays. I mean, it's okay. If you celebrate me, my wife sometimes gets me a cake. And I'm like, yeah. So that day on my birthday, we were doing a family worship. And I was telling my kids, hey, what's the best thing that happened today? And everybody was like, oh, Dad, the best thing was when you took us out to this. The best thing was that. Nobody said the best thing is my birthday. And it's easy to not feel celebrated, and to feel like, oh, now all these people, like, look at you little brats, I've been doing everything for you, and now none of you remembers that it's my birthday to even say the biggest thing is is my birthday. So I got a little, but in my heart I'm like, I don't do it for that, right? So I don't live for them. I choose to live for something higher than myself. So choose to live for something higher than yourself, something that aligns with your purpose. For me, I call that God. And I build that relationship daily through devotionals. One of the devotionals is the self-love devotional that I'll be sharing with you for free. It's a powerful devotional on being the kind of person who can make things happen around you, in marriage, in business. It's really raw, beginner level, but when you read it, I hope you get to see something for yourself there. Set boundaries, define them. When they don't work, redefine them. Just take charge. It's okay to set clear boundaries with people, even those that you love, even your children, even your spouse. It's okay to set those boundaries. Set them. Because here's the thing. There will be people who will stick by you even at your lowest. There are those who will stay with you when you're in your mess, even when you don't deserve it. Don't burn bridges with them. Set boundaries, but don't burn bridges with these people. When you wake up and when you start getting better, meet them where they are. Love them. Give them the same time and care they once gave you when you were struggling. Oh, this is a really, really good one. I know, like my wife, really, when I was just like broken and I was really, really distracted and I was an absent father and I was not, I was just not present in my role as a father or a husband, my wife was there. My wife stayed it all. And I remember she would fast. She would do a lot of fasting. She would do a lot of prayers. And I would be there. Like, Nico, I was there. Like, I was just doing it. But I wasn't, like, engaged. I wasn't in my role. I wasn't in my element as the head of the family, as the person who wants to steer this family in a certain direction. So now that I realized what I was doing and the pain of leading my family down to a certain level of distraction, I changed. And when I started getting back up, I realized that my wife had also gotten so hurt. She had really withdrawn to her safe space, and she wanted to really just give me my time, like, hey, you do you, just don't get to my space. I'm like, hey, I've changed, I'm a different person. But to her, she was like, hey, no, man. And I get it. But one thing that really broke my heart, and something that I have with me, is that never leave these people, never leave them. Because, it takes a whole new kind of love to just be there for them, because they were there for you when they could have walked out. Like, seriously, they were there. Whether they were there because of fear, whether they were there because they had no options, but the fact is, they were there. They were there. And so right now, it's your turn and your chance and your opportunity to make things better with them. Not like, oh, now I'm not going to take this nonsense, Your relationships can be your greatest strength or your biggest weakness. Choose wisely. Stay grounded in who you are and whose you are, and don't let anyone change that. Lesson number 5. Your sense of self must be stronger than what you have. Your sense of self must be stronger than what you have. Ask yourself this. If I lost everything today, if I lost all my money, if I lost my job, if I lost my fame, who would I be? If you can honestly say that I'd still be content, I'll still know who I am, then you have a real foundation. Many people would say, I don't know. Others are like, I can't ever go there. Some people are founded on their parents, so that if their parents are gone, everything shifts for them. Everything. And it's okay for things to shift, but it's important to know that your parents are not the deepest foundation. Something deeper has to be there. And if that thing deeper hasn't been there yet, explore it. Ask yourself, what is deeper if my parents are gone? What is there? What do I have to hold on to? Your identity must be rooted in those deep things. Something that death cannot take away. Something that stuff cannot take away. When I was 18 years old, I remember that I was just a seeker. I was full of questions, full of curiosity, anger for meaning. At 19, I even started questioning God too. Honestly, I think questioning is good. I don't dispute that. I think you can question God. Even God says, question me. God says that. And I remember there is a parable where Jesus is asking this man, only if you believe. And the man is saying, yes, I believe, Lord. Help me in my unbelief. It's okay to have unbelief. But here's the thing. When you question something, where do you go for answers? Do you go to another belief system? Do you go to another self-help tool? Do you go to another philosophy? Do you throw everything off the window? You can explore all that, really. You can, as long as you're grounded. But remember, you need to seek alignment. Look for the truth, not just in the books, but in the people around you. Pray for wisdom, really. Study deeply, test everything. You will always realize that truth leaves clues. And something about truth is, truth isn't so much more about just principles. It isn't so much more about just values. If you think about the value of love, right? Like love, it's like chair or tree. All these things are labels. So if you think about these labels, tree, in my native language, a tree is called yen. In Swahili, it's called mti. So if mti in and of itself, without the aspect of mti, without the object mti, is just MTI. It's empty. It's MTI. Like it has no meaning. It needs an object to give it meaning. Now, you could argue, oh no, but they are abstract things. Yes, that's the thing. Our mind tends to give abstraction to things that they can't hold on to. But I think the Bible brings us back to the truth of certain values in a person. The truth in a person of Christ. You can learn, what I'm saying is you can learn about unconditional love from Jesus Christ. And truth for me is, again, it's when you think about the person of Jesus who came in the person of God and he was sinless and he did whatever he did. He lived among us. He faced the same struggles, but he never sinned, right? He faced temptations. He had the powers to be so powerful. The devil is saying, hey, you can just worship me. That was pride. You can just be proud and say, I own this. He could. He had the ability. This is a guy who was raising people from the dead. You see people who lead cults, but he didn't do it. He let that all slide. So he didn't just preach karma. He believed in karma. By the way, people are like, oh, Jesus didn't believe in Buddhist philosophy. He did. He did believe in Buddhist philosophy, cause and effect. The laws of Moses are laws of cause and effect for the most parts, right? He did. But he introduced something totally different. He introduced grace and mercy, which we don't find anywhere. He accepted the reality of justice, but then he took all that punishment on himself. And he chose to die on the cross for us, for me. And that is a truth for me that I cannot deny. And today that truth is the unshakable foundation of my identity. So remember, is your sense of truth, your sense of self, stronger than what you have, stronger than your relationships? Lesson number 6, some habits will cost you everything. You see, it doesn't take a huge mistake to ruin your life. It takes really 1,000 little choices you think don't matter until they do. Let me tell you a story. So there was this guy, we could call him Mike, and he had a lot going on for him. A good job, a great family, big dreams. But little by little, small habits started creeping into this guy. He became complacent, just a little lazy, At first, it's watching a little nude content online. Oh my God. Like those nude content, you're like, a little bit, it's just, once in a while. It's not a big deal, But to remember, some people are seated somewhere with their algorithm, whether it's Netflix, whether it's YouTube, whatever it is, Facebook, there is an algorithm somewhere that is studying you. And this guy likes this kind of content. Soon, your phone will start showing you more of that content. And guess what happened? Mike felt trapped. Now, rather than just watching it once, he could watch it more and more. Oh, it's like, oh, look at that one and look at this one. And soon it moves to texting, where people that you shouldn't be texting, right? A little flirting here and there. It feels harmless at first. It's maybe a little fun. It's like a fun little secret, you know. But remember what? It starts distracting Mike from what's truly important. His goals, his peace, his family. He's distracted. See, Mike also started hanging out with people who weren't building anything. You know, they spent their time gossiping, complaining, having loose morals. And, you know, Mike wanted to belong. He stayed longer. He just drank. And he even started living a lifestyle he couldn't afford. He doesn't have time to build his business anymore, you know, and buy things he doesn't need. He's talking big about himself while he should just be living humble. At first, it feels very exciting, but it's like falling from a tall building and feeling the rush of wind on your face. Oh, this is so nice. Not knowing that you are rushing straight for the ground. And when you hit rock bottom, broken, dreams, lost respect, so much regret, you realize sometimes too late that a night of bad choices can cost you everything you've worked for. See, here's the truth. Your habits are either building your future or destroying it. Choose wisely, guys, because life doesn't warn you when you're about to crash. It just happens. Bam. Lesson number 7, and this is the last one. The trap of figuring it out. We all fall into that trap of trying to figure things out. You know, let me be honest with you. For a long time, I thought I had to figure everything out before making a move. You know, I would sit there planning, analyzing, doubting myself, telling myself that I was being wise. You know, something about figuring it out sounds so cool. You're figuring it out. You know, it sounds wise. But deep down, it's pride. It's fear. It's, I don't want to fail. I don't want to look foolish. I don't want to look like I don't know. I don't want to ask for help. So while you're staying stuck, trying to be perfect, others keep moving, learning, growing, winning, doing. Then one day it hits you. If I keep living like this, I will always just be known as the average dude. You see, that thought breaks people if you find out. You see, if you think about a little child trying to walk, they fall, but they cry, and they don't sit there trying to figure out, maybe I should move my arm like this or that. No, it's about success isn't just about being smart or trying to find the best move. It's about the person who don't give up, the person who doesn't freeze when he falls. You ask yourself each time you fall, what didn't I do right? How can I do it better, right? And then you fix it. You know, if you are talking on a YouTube video like this, and maybe I realize, okay, a long time I realize, oh, this doesn't work. What did I do? How can I fix it? You know, try again, stay humble, stay consistent. Growth feels boring sometimes, but boring really wins. You know, boring changes everything, guys. Final thoughts, life is short. Most people live like they have forever, but you don't, and I don't, definitely. Learn fast, love deeply, protect your mind, choose good habits, and most importantly, seek God for yourself. He will change your life, just like He changed mine. Remember, this is a sneak peek of the book, the devotional, that I'll be giving you for free very soon. I hope you look forward for it as I am looking forward to give it to you. And take care. Stay blessed by the best. Bye-bye.